Hey, welcome to Magical Pain-Free Living with Shalini. I'm your host, Shalini Joshi Amdagni. I'm an international physical and emotional pain relief expert and a best-selling author. And, this is a weekly show that I do. It's every week, Thursday at 10 a.m. Indochina time. Okay, and chances are that if you are here, then you're someone, or you or someone you know or love is in pain, and probably you've been trying different things to help yourself, and you're here also to look for some solutions, right? I'm really glad you're here. In my first episode, I was talking about the fact that we are mind, body, spirit, right? And everything is interconnected. So when I'm working with clients, then we're looking at pain in different aspects of pain, which is physical pain, emotional pain, mental pain, and spiritual pain. And so I'm not sure what pain you are in right now, but what I do know is a tool that can help you overcome your physical, emotional, mental, spiritual pain naturally, instantly. You can manage those pain levels instantly. And I'm so excited to share this tool with you, which you will be learning about in this particular episode. So stay tuned and we'll see how this works, okay? Now, going back to pain, pain is a universal experience. Everyone experiences pain from time to time. And for some, it comes and goes. And for others, there's just no break from this pain. And if you're someone who is in chronic pain, that means you've had this pain for weeks, maybe months, maybe years, and maybe even decades. Then you're someone who's also feeling frustrated and angry because you've tried a bunch of things and nothing seems to be working. And the pain is limiting your life in so many different ways, right? I get it. I've been there myself. I shared with you in my very first introductory episode that I had been diagnosed with a disease because of which I had chronic pain, and nothing that I tried worked for me until my doctor suggested that I just quit my job and I be on bed rest forever. And it wasn't a happy place. You can know more about that story in my first episode, the introductory episode. But luckily, I bumped into a tool online that I was able to use on myself, by myself, and I started noticing instant shifts in my pain levels. And as I used that tool for over a month, every single day, I was completely free from my pain and also my disease. And so I'm really excited to share this tool with you. So in this particular episode, I'm going to be sharing with you 3 key discoveries I made in my journey from my pain to experiencing peace and clarity. And we will also be doing a live demo, a live experience, so that you can get a taste of what this is, okay? So jumping into the 3 discoveries that I made in my journey through that chronic pain. And number 1 is that pain is simply a message from your body. Number 2 is your thoughts and emotions have a direct relationship with your physical pain. We'll talk more about that later. And then, of course, the discovery number 3 is this magical tool that I was able to use to instantly shift my pain levels and then finally be out of my disease and my chronic pain. Okay, so jumping into the discovery number 1, which is your pain is simply a message from your body. Your body is constantly trying to communicate with you, and it uses symptoms and, to communicate with you. And initially, it whispers to you in soft, small symptoms, like little aches and pains, little symptoms saying, hey, something needs, attention, something needs looking into. And usually, like if you're most, like most people, and me too, we just tend to ignore that little soft pain, that little whisper from the body, and we keep moving forward. We have so many things to do in our lives, right? It's so busy, so hectic. Who has the time to notice that little ache and pain until the body starts speaking with a louder symptom? The message gets louder and it says, hey, you really need to pay attention to this. Don't ignore this. And most people just keep moving forward with their activities and not really paying too much attention to this until the body starts screaming loudly and saying, hey, pay attention or else, right? And then suddenly we get this wake-up call because now we're really struggling and now we really need to do something. And that's when we really start to take some serious action. And usually, for most people, that action involves going to the hospital, going to doctors, taking medications, painkillers, injections, maybe surgeries, right? And I believe all of these have their place in our journey through pain. But if you're in chronic pain, you've tried all these things, right? And sometimes it just doesn't work and you don't understand what's going on. I'm trying so many different things to help myself. Nothing's working. But here's the mistake that people in chronic pain make. So we're trying to, we think that the message of the body is about going there and doing something physically, right? And a piece of it is, but really the pain message is not so much of what's going on physically outside of you, but what's going on emotionally inside of you. In my last episode, in my first episode, I was talking about the fact that, your roots determine your fruits. It's not something I suggest, it's not coined by me. T. Harv Eker is the person I've heard use this analogy time and time again. So the results, the fruits are the results that you're getting in your life is, that is, the cause is the roots, right? And so your inner reality is creating your outer reality. And if you don't address that inner stuff that's going on, that invisible, that underneath the layer stuff that's going on with you, then you never really experience lasting relief. So, when I was in chronic pain and nothing was working for me, I happened to attend a seminar and I heard these words that your insides are creating your outside, your thoughts and your feelings and emotions are creating your disease, right? Which is our second discovery, that it's what's going on inside of you that's creating your outside. And so after a decade on this journey, here's how I'm understanding this works. So, a disturbing thought or experience creates a static, a disturbing, it disturbs the energy flow in your body and creates some sort of static in your system, which eventually creates a negative emotion, and you even start to have physical dis-ease. So let me explain this. For example, if right now you're here and if you got a phone call saying your father had a serious accident and you need to come home right away, that disturbing piece of that thought, that incoming piece of communication disturbs your energy, right? You were fine, maybe you were driving, you were listening to music, and you've got this piece of information and it disturbs you. And you might start feeling negative emotion like worry, anxiety, fear, right? And for some people, you might even start experiencing a physical symptom like your heart starts pounding, your muscles tense up. So emotions, negative thoughts, emotions cause physical things, right? Make sense? Are you with me? So now if you've got something that's happening for a long period of time, a long-term stress, something that's been on your mind, somewhere at the back of your mind, it's been bothering you and it's been really upsetting you. And even though you're not daily conscious of it, it's somewhere there. It's, so if something's going on for a long period of time, then it's bound to create bigger physical pain and bigger state of disease, physically. So you're saying, okay, I get it, that the inside is creating the outside. And, I was asking myself, okay, so what do I do now? I get it. Now, how do I deal with this? What do I do, right? That's when our magic tool comes in, emotional freedom techniques, EFT, or it's also known as tapping. Now, if you're completely unfamiliar with this tool or this technique, EFT, or emotional freedom technique, or tapping, is a tool that combines ancient acupressure technique plus modern psychology. So it has two components. It has a physical component where you're physically stimulating the endpoints of these meridians, acupressure points, not with needles, but simply with your fingertips, you're tapping and stimulating them. So that's the physical component, but you're also tuning in to what's upsetting you. So there is a psychological piece to it where you're thinking and you're tuning into what's bothering me, what's stressing me, whether it's something emotional or physical. So what you're doing is you're tuning in and you're tapping, right? Now, this is also a tool that looks really weird, it looks strange, but it's a tool that very quickly reveals its true power. I was telling you that I was in chronic pain, and I began using this tool. And even the very first few rounds of tapping that I did, I started noticing instant shifts in my pain levels, which was just miraculous, right? Because there would be days when I would be popping so many pills and I wouldn't see a single shift in my body. So, you can, it's a tool that looks a little strange, and it's, I thought it was the strangest thing I ever did, but I was out of my pain and out of, I healed myself completely. So now, I know that I would love for you to get a taste of this, but since it's your very first experience with this, and I don't want to do something really heavy and dig deep into those root causes and those root issues, we're going to work on a very lighter, more surface level, just to give you a taste and just to get you into this feeling of how to use it and how it works. So what I want you to do is take time right now, tune in right now, and see what's bothering you on an emotional level or a physical level. Now, if you've got something going on physically, that's fantastic, because EFT works amazingly with physical pain. So if you've got a physical pain right now, tune in and see exactly what's going on. Do you have an ache? Does your back ache, or do you feel stiffness in your neck, or does your lower back feel tight? Tune into that, what's going on with you physically. If you haven't got anything going on with you physically, you can tune into what's stressing you out. What's your current stress? What's bothering you? What's been on your mind? It doesn't have to be something really big. Maybe it's just, yesterday I was in a meeting and my boss made this comment and it really angered me. Or could be something with your family, something with your kids, something you're frustrated about, or annoyed, or irritated, or angry, or upset. Okay, you get the picture. So pick an issue to work with, tune in to that issue, and now we're going to rate it on a scale of 0 to 10. How much is this issue, whether it's a physical ache or an emotional stress, how much is it bothering you right now? 10 is, it's really upsetting me, it's really bothering me. 0 is not at all. It's not bothering me at all. Okay, so I want you to pick the issue and rate on a scale of 0 to 10, how much is that bothering you? Give yourself a number. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's just, guess. Just guess what the number is or what it feels like right now. And we're going to do some tapping. So we're going to tap out this stress or ache or whatever it is. and I'm going to lead you through this, okay? So we're going to do a little bit of Simon Says, and I'm going to tell you where to tap. And of course, there's an emotional, psychological component. So we're going to say things that are bothering us as we're going to physically tap on these different acupressure points. You with me? So let's go and start at the very first acupressure point, which is known as a karate chop point, because that's where you do a karate chop, right? You can see this. And for those of you who are listening or not live here, and maybe you're listening to this on a podcast, the karate chop point is on, on the side of your hand, right below the pinky finger, right? It starts right there at the base of that pinky, where the pinky finger ends, and all the way down to your wrist. That's the karate chop point. And you can tap on either side, whether it's the right hand or the left hand, and you tap with a bunch of fingers on that, okay? The next point is known as the eyebrow point, okay? We're just going through the different points right now. And the eyebrow point is right at the start of your eyebrow, either side, right? On the left side or the right side. It's that point that's really where the eyebrow begins. Next point is the side of the eye. Very simple. It's that bone on the side of the eye, and you just tap lightly with a bunch of fingers. Under the eye is the next point. Literally, it's under the eye, and it's on the bone under the eye. Okay, keep following along. It's really easy. It's sort of going down your face. And the next point is under the nose. There's no need to explain anything there. There is not much space. So just tapping with fingertips under the nose. Okay. And the chin is the next point, which is the crease on the chin. That's the point. So tap on that. We're just learning the tapping points right now. And the next one is the collarbone point. So if you feel your collarbone, just like right below that point, it's that fleshy, mushy part, right? You tap over there with a bunch of fingertips. You can tap on either collarbone, the left side or the right side. And the next point is under the arm. It's not really right under the arm. It's a few inches, like 3 inches under the arm. So you just tap with a bunch of fingertips right there. It's where the bra strap would be for a woman. And then the last point is here at the top of the head. It's the crown, and just tapping lightly with a bunch of fingertips at the top of the head. So these are the tapping points, the tapping acupressure points. So now we're gonna do the first round of tapping, okay? So let's begin, and just follow along as I tell you to tap on the different points and tune into what I'm saying. Now it's a very general thing because I really don't know what's going on with you, but this is just to give you a feel. This is just to give you a taste. So tap on the karate chop point. Begin tapping, tap continuously, and just follow along. I'm going to say a statement 3 times on this very point. So just follow along. Even though I'm holding on to all this stress and tension and aches and pains in my body, I choose to feel ease and peace instead. I'm going to say that again. Even though I'm holding on to all this stress, all this tension in my body, I choose to relax and breathe in peace. One last time, tapping on the karate chop point. Even though I'm holding on to all the stress and tension in my body right now, I choose to relax and breathe in peace. Okay? So that was the tapping at the karate chop point. We're now going to move to the different points. Let's tap on the eyebrow point with a few fingertips and just stay tuned in to what's bothering you physically or whatever the stress is. All the stress and tension in my body. Move to the side of the eye point, tapping lightly there. All the stress and tension that I'm holding on to. Under the eye point, keep tapping. This issue that's been bothering me. Under the nose point, keep tapping. these aches and pains that have been bothering me. Tap on the chin point, that crease. All the stress and strain that I'm holding on to in my body. Tap on the collarbone point. The stress and the strain in my body that I'm holding on to. Tap on the underarm point, right? All this stress and tension that I'm feeling right now. Top of the head. So much going on. All these feelings of overwhelm and anger. Tap on the eyebrow point again, the start of the eyebrow. Come back to that point. Keep tapping. Stay tuned into what's bothering you. This issue, this ache, this pain that's bothering me right now. Side of the eye. I prefer to release it and let it go. Under the eye point. I choose to release all that's bothering me right now. Under the nose. Letting go of all the stress and all the tension in my body right now. Chin point. Letting go of all the resistance and all the fears and worries. On the collarbone point, I choose to release all the stress and strain, all the aches and pains in my body. Under the arm point, I choose to release and let it all go from my heart, from my mind, from my body. Top of the head, I choose to feel ease and peace instead. Okay, take a deep breath. And you can stop the tapping. So this was a very quick, simple, a couple of minutes round of tapping. And, you know, what we did is we tuned in to what was bothering us, and we were tapping to release that stress and that dis-ease that we were feeling. So what I want you to do right now is we tuned in, we tapped out, right? I want you to now check in on that intensity. What was the number that you first wrote down for your, emotional pain, stress, or your physical ache and pain? What was that number that you wrote down? So for example, if you had a neck pain, which was at an 8, what does that feel like right now? And if it shifts from an 8 to a 6, well, that's great. That's progress, right? So there is some shift there. Or if you were tuned in emotionally to something that was stressing you out and it was like a 6, you're feeling upset, you're feeling angry. And now when you think about it, when you think about that issue, when you tune into that incident that was bothering you, maybe it's not as intense as before. Okay, and that's great too, because that's a shift, right? And you can see that within minutes, you are able to shift the intensity of the ache, the pain, or the stress. And you can imagine what might be possible if you actually use this tool to help yourself on a daily basis, and what might be possible for you, for your future, and for your life. Now, if you're someone who tuned in and tapped and you didn't really see any shift, whether you were tuned in physically and you saw no shift in your physical pain, or nothing shifted for you emotionally, don't stress, because this was just a very general tapping session to give you a taste, a feel of it. And I know many of you have experienced some sort of shifts, because I've worked with this for 10 years now, right? So for those of you that nothing shifted, no worries. next episode, we're going to be diving a little bit deeper into the root issues and really sort of decoding and using strategies to uncover the deeper rooted issues which are really at the core of your pain. So if you tuned in right now, I'd love for you to share with me, comment below and let me know, was this your first time tapping? What kind of shifts did you notice, whether it was a physical shift or an emotional shift? What came up for you? If you've been tapping for a while, I'd love to hear from you too. What happened? What was your experience? What were the shifts you experienced? And of course, I would love for you to join me in my next episode. Like I said, this is happening every week, Thursdays at 10 a.m. Indochina time, which really translates to, for example, the night before, Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific time, just to give you an idea, right? And I am so glad that you tuned in and joined me. And if you resonated with this or you found this helpful, please help me share this message and, tell people that you love to come in and join in so that they can learn this tool that they can use immediately. It's a tool that you can use anytime, anywhere, and experience shifts in your pain levels, physical or emotional. And we'll be exploring deeper and deeper as we go through the next episodes. So thank you for joining in. I hope to see you in my next episode. And before we wrap up, I just want to say, till we meet next time, stay tuned in, keep tuning in and tapping out. I'll see you very soon. Thanks for joining.